From the pages of WWF Raw magazine, May 1998, we find ourselves in the heart of the Attitude Era, a time when nothing was sacred, everyone had an edge, and kayfabe was hanging by a thread. This issue delivers full-throttle storytelling, unfiltered commentary, and a powerful look at a federation reshaping its identity. On the cover, none other than the New Age Outlaws, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg, riding high on tag team gold and irreverent swagger. Inside, the tone is pure chaos, and editor-in-chief Vic Venom sets the bar immediately with Venom Raw, a blistering editorial dripping with sarcasm and real-world venom. Venom wonders aloud, what happens if Vince McMahon tries to clean up Stone Cold Steve Austin should he become WWF champion? Will he make Austin kiss babies and smile for Kathy Lee, just like he did with Diesel and Shawn Michaels? Russo isn't having it. His warning? Austin's no corporate puppet, and he might just stunner McMahon himself before ever posing for a magazine cover. We then shift into The Informer, where behind-the-scenes whispers confirm what many feared. Shawn Michaels may be nearing the end of his career. After being dropped back first onto a casket by The Undertaker at the Royal Rumble, Michaels has been battling 2 herniated discs and nerve damage. Sources question whether he'll be at 100% come WrestleMania 14. This news casts a somber shadow over the magazine, especially as Michaels was still holding gold and headlining events. What follows is a sobering meditation on a man who has given everything to the ring and now faces the reality of being human. In Ragin' Ross, good old Jim dishes out trademark commentary and insight, musing about Kane and Undertaker's feud, praising Farouk's leadership, wondering when Jerry Lawler will admit that Brian Christopher is his son, and teasing the rise of future stars like Jacqueline and Val Venis. JR's notes are sharp, sarcastic, and filled with Attitude-era flavor. He throws shade at WCW, makes subtle digs at old-school promoters, and raises questions about DX's future under Triple H. Next up is Shootin' from the Mouth by Jim Cornette, who delivers a brilliant comparison between the old-school way of becoming a wrestler and the modern independent scene. Cornette takes us through a gritty history lesson. Back in the day, you'd break into the business by carrying bags, setting up rings, and taking beatings for pennies. Today, anyone with a checkbook can sign up at a training school and call themselves a wrestler. The contrast is stark, and Cornette's nostalgia for the territory system paints a brutally honest portrait of what it used to take to survive and thrive in the business. We then launch into a lengthy and surprisingly candid interview with Chains of the Disciples of Apocalypse. Real name Brian Lee, Chains opens up about his early life in Jacksonville, Florida, his sports background, his quiet high school years, and his slow climb through Memphis, Smoky Mountain, Global, and ECW before landing in the WWF. He talks about life on the road, sharing baked potatoes with Steve Austin in the early 90s, and how he grew into his on-screen persona. He doesn't dodge questions, addressing leadership in DOA after Crush left, jealousy in the locker room, and his desire to someday shed the Chains name and compete under his own. There's ambition here, and it's refreshing. He wants gold. He's aiming for the top 4 by the end of the year, and he's not afraid to step over someone to get there. The next feature, Welcome to the World, is a wild, edgy piece filled with graphic visuals and a demented narrative voice that embodies the tone of Raw magazine. It's a blend of fiction and fact, blending scenes of chair shots, flaming tables, and twisted rivalries into a chaotic portrait of the Federation as a twisted circus. Following this madness is The Ultimate, a cautious analysis of a potential third bout between Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn. Venom writes this one too, warning readers not to jump to conclusions. He recaps both men's UFC history, noting Shamrock's explosive WWF learning curve and Severn's lack of exposure to the nightly grind. Could Severn hang in the Federation? Maybe, but Venom questions if he's ready to tango with a more experienced, more TV-ready Shamrock under the bright lights of Raw and pay-per-view. Page 30 opens a visually striking pictorial of the New Age Outlaws titled Oh You Didn't Know, showcasing their rise from mid-card misfits to tag team royalty. The photo spread includes backstage moments, candid locker room chaos, and shots of the Outlaws mid-rant, middle fingers flying, mouths agape. It's all energy, all attitude. That segues into a rare historical tribute piece, Express in Their History, which covers the storied legacy of the Midnight Express. The article, written with reverence, recounts the multiple incarnations of the team, from Dennis Condrey and Bobby Eaton to Stan Lane and beyond, while honoring Jim Cornette as the loudmouth strategist behind their success. Bradshaw's on the warpath in the next article, targeting Barry Windham for betrayal. Bradshaw's Looking for a Fight details how Windham, once a friend, turned on him and joined the NWA contingent. Bradshaw's determined to make him pay. The article positions him as a rugged brawler with something to prove, and the Texas pride to back it up. Then we get What's His Funkin' Story, a heartfelt tribute to Terry Funk that captures both his madness and genius. From barbed wire to moonsaults at age 50, Funk's journey is framed as that of a man who never quit. The writing balances awe with sadness. Funk's body is breaking down, but his mind remains razor sharp and his heart still beats for hardcore. This flows nicely into a nostalgic piece on the great managers of the past in Yo, Do You Remember? It highlights the Grand Wizard, Arnold Scotland, Freddie Blassie, and Captain Lou Albano, celebrating their contributions to the golden age of wrestling psychology and presence. Then comes a wild flashback titled Quebec Rules Only, recounting the infamous Raw match between the Steiner brothers and the Quebecers, where an obscure Quebec Rules clause allowed the titles to change hands via DQ. It's a fun dive into one of the strangest title changes in Raw history. Finally, we hit Fantasy Warfare, The Rock versus The Rock, an editorial imagining a showdown between Rocky Maivia and Don Morocco. This tongue-in-cheek clash pits charisma against charisma, Polynesian powerhouse versus Attitude-era icon. The verdict, too close to call, but a reminder of how much both men meant to their respective generations. The ads in this issue are pure attitude gold. Page after page is loaded with Austin 316 shirts, SCSA dog tags, hats, clocks, finger rings, even a Stone Cold University backpack. The Kane merchandise is red hot. Masks, shirts, Kane Rules mugs, and Undertaker gear is everywhere, including denim vests, skull pendants, and vinyl wall hangings. The catalog is a merch addict's dream, with each item packaged in true 1998 style, loud, dark, and aggressively cool. So if this walk through blood, betrayal, ambition, and Austin merch gave you goosebumps, then it's time to crank that dial all the way up. Because this isn't your dad's wrestling magazine. This is Raw. This is war. This is the Attitude Era in full print power. And this has been From the Pages. Like, share, and subscribe for more. Every day.